Hey guys, welcome back to the NFM Podcast. We are here from the OptimizeU studio, and our sponsors today are OptimizeU, ChillN Ice Cream, and Clean Juice. Love all of those brands.
All at once.
What'd you say?
You love them all at once.
Yeah, we really do. And individually. All at once.
Yeah.
That would be an experience. I got what you meant. I was like, no, we do love them all at once and individually, but
It took you a minute.
yeah, that would be an experience altogether. We are here with Shev and Payton today, and they're going to share with us about Rhoë Pilates, which I'm so excited to learn more about. I'm also here with Terry.
What's up? How are you?
Good. Are you excited to be here today?
I am as excited as I can be.
Which is really excited, everybody.
Super
In case you're wondering how exciting that is. Thanks for being here. I am glad that you're hosting with me today. Yeah.
We'll see how this goes.
It's always a fun time.
I feel rusty. I don't know why, but
I don't know. Are you nervous?
no.
That's what everybody says. I'm the only one who's honest.
Man, you turn a camera on, and I'm at home.
Yeah.
So it's annoying. This is easier than my work.
It is in the back of my head. Like, I do think about the camera being there. I just try not to think. Do y'all get nervous? Have y'all done a podcast before?
Not like this level, no. So
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit nervous.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Well,
you don't think about it though.
yeah.
Right now I'm not thinking about it.
And we're just having a conversation.
Good time to change the subject.
And we have
you
an
do start thinking
icebreaker. So that will, if there are any nerves, the basket of debate will take care of them.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, everybody grab a prompt out of here. Pass it along.
Wait,
I will
did
go-
you pre-pick your prompt? Because you were playing around with that basket before
I
the
didn't pay
camera went.
attention. I just grabbed it.
Sure.
Nope, this is not the same one I
I feel
looked
like
at
I'm
earlier.
being set up.
It's not. I'm not cheating. Okay, I'll start, and then everybody's going to respond to this. Okay. High intensity interval training, so HIIT, versus steady state cardio. Is HIIT the ultimate time efficient workout, or does it increase injury risk and burnout compared to steady state cardio? We've never had a question like this.
That's a debatable question for real.
Carrie really brought the heat with this one. Ezra. Ezra did not make these today. We're going to blame this debate on Carrie. Okay. Is HIIT the ultimate time efficient workout, or does it increase injury risk and burnout compared to steady state cardio? It is time efficient, I think.
Oh yeah, certainly.
Like, I would say that. The ultimate time efficient workout. But I think it has its place. It depends. This is a loaded question because I think it has to be well grounded within other types of training, not just standalone. And both treat different energy systems. So like between steady state cardio and HIIT type training, and you need to train both energy systems. So I'm basically like, don't really have an answer. I think they're both good and needed in different times. And depending on the person.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there you can say. Well, it depends.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
That's
the
where I'm just like kind of
injury-prone
thinking
stuff,
this out.
Like you can remove that by putting someone on a recumbent bike and having them do HIIT, right? Like there are a lot of formats for HIIT
Exactly.
training. And probably more, I don't know, that's probably an overstatement, but as I said, there's probably more than steady state cardio, but most of us are lifting weights. So if you're lifting weights, you're already getting steady state cardio. The injury prone thing, I think is just that's hard because that is really just depending on the coach and the trainer, or the coach and the client at that point.
Exactly. Like, it depends. Is the person ready for that?
Yeah.
Or are they not?
Correct.
And your bodies are resilient. They can handle stress, but are you doing it in a safe way?
That's a great question.
And like you said, you could do HIIT on a bike.
Yep.
It's just the way you kind of hit it hard and bring it back down under your heart rate.
Ladies, what do you think?
I think it depends on definitely like the modality that you're doing too. Are you working with a coach? Are you doing it yourself? Are you going to a workout class? And so that kind of gets a little bit more granular in the sense of who's coaching you. Are they taking into account previous injuries or where your goals are? So it's like, it is very person dependent for sure, but you know, there are ways around it. I personally tend to trend more towards HIIT just because I think you can accomplish steady state in a state of HIIT as well as HIIT in a state of steady state, if that makes sense. Like they are, you can marry the two together pretty easily.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to say the
Any opinions?
the first thing I thought of is like it is really person to person because you can also injure yourself both ways very easily.
Yeah.
By also just not knowing what you're doing and having wrong form. And again, going back to coach, like the coach and how they're teaching the class and instructing it and knowing prior injuries. Yeah. Yeah. It's always going to be dependent on the person.
Yeah. So. Well, that question could take up the whole podcast. We could talk a lot about
you've done all kinds of rabbit trails for sure.
Yeah, we could. Okay. Shev, you want to go next?
Sure. Stretching before workouts. Should static stretching be done before exercise, or is dynamic stretching the only effective warm-up method? Should I go ahead with my response?
Sure.
First?
We're getting scientific today.
We are getting scientific.
I think that I'm just going off of my routine. I prefer to dynamic stretch throughout my workout as well. Obviously, being that I have like a background in Pilates, there's a lot of stretching that is incorporated throughout the entire workout. So if I'm doing a Pilates-based workout, I won't stretch before. There's no, static stretching that I'm starting with. I'm kind of letting it flow into the routine. Typically, like the last 5 minutes of a Pilates class are followed up by more dynamic stretching. So that's just a nice way to cool down as well. But if I'm doing more of a HIIT workout, I like to hit it a little bit cold. I just go right into it, and then I stretch at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Payton?
I'm just trying to think. I'm an Orange Theory girl, so I typically will start on the tread, and that's my warm up, and that's how I get my body moving and ready to go.
Okay.
Kind of jumping right in. But then if I'm on the floor, or I have to be on the floor, then there is those like specific stretches that everyone starts out doing, which I do appreciate if I do start on the floor. But I typically like to start, even if I'm at the gym, getting a nice like sweat going before.
Yeah, agree with that. Get warmed up.
Yeah.
I'd say with my clients, the majority of the time we start with dynamic stuff, kind of loosening up the muscles, and then end with more static and holding. Someone gave me an analogy of like a rubber band, and I wish I could remember it because it was really good to like explain the difference between dynamic stretching and static stretching when preparing for workouts, but I don't think I could give the analogy well enough, so I'm not going to.
I'm not going to do it.
Do you know it, Terry? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I feel like I could string it together, but I'd be wrong.
You kind of understand.
I'd be wrong because I don't know the analogy. So I will say that it's nice to hear you talk about not warming up because I definitely have to warm up. And it's never, I shouldn't say that I always do that, but it's always dynamic for me as a warm up. It's always been that way. I've always trained my clients that way for the last 20 years. But I use like yoga or mobility movements for my warm up, for reps. Yeah. So I'm not holding a downward dog, but I'm using a downward dog into a runner's lunge, into an open runner's lunge, maybe even into a low lunge. Hips, shoulders, making sure the wrists and the joints are all. It's kind of a way to check in, right? You're using your own body weight in order to do it.
Have you done sorry.
Go ahead.
Have you done a windmill with a kettlebell?
Oh, yeah.
I did those this morning. Do y'all know windmills? I did those this morning with just a tiny little kettlebell just to warm up for my upper body.
You didn't realize how tight you were on your sides, did you?
Yeah, well, I had done them recently. But I was thinking when you said like doing certain exercises for reps, like to warm up, that felt really good warming up with windmills. Yeah. And I would include those in my strength section as well. But I was like, it's just very functional.
Yeah, and if you can find a way, I think this is what I've done in the years of me training myself, is I'm trying to mix in one mobility exercise per 2 strength exercises per circuit. So there's always an element of open while I'm, open muscle, open joint while I'm working on, strength training. So there's your tip of the day from Terry. 20 years as a trainer. There you go.
Good stuff. We actually don't get to talk a whole lot about like the scientific and exercise like stuff on this podcast.
It's because we want to keep viewers. We don't want to.
And we love just like hearing from our guests and what people are doing in Nashville. But it is kind of fun to have a little bit of basket of debate on those kind of questions. Okay, Payton, what does yours say?
Okay. Cardio versus strength training, which is more effective for long-term health, fat loss, and longevity, cardiovascular exercise or resistant training?
Terry,
thoughts.
you go first.
No. I heard the I want to hear your thoughts.
Say the first part again.
Which is more effective for long-term health, fat loss, and longevity?
Long-term health, fat loss, and longevity.
Mm-hmm.
We get to say our opinion, right? It's not bashing cardio. But I would say strength, and I would recommend strength training to anybody who asked me. Because you build muscle, which increases your bone density and increases your metabolism. So your muscle works even when you aren't working because it's breaking itself down, building itself back up. So when you go home and sit on the couch, you're burning calories because you strength trained. Mm-hmm. So for fat loss, bone density, for longevity, so many things. We could just go on and on about the benefits of strength training. So I would say strength training, but just like with the HIIT versus steady state, I think cardio is needed as well. So you can get cardio conditioning through strength training. But I think cardio is great in addition to strength training.
That question always gets everybody like, I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
It's, I think the most important thing to remember for our listeners is that in order to put on muscle or to lose weight, no matter what you're doing in that sense in your health journey, that it doesn't happen without optimized hormones. Mm-hmm. So when your hormones are where they need to be, then you can control that weight because you're going to get cardio when you do strength training, when you do, heavy weights. You do heavy weights and you come up for air. You're breathing heavy, maybe pace, you're sweating. So there is like
I'll hit 90% at least of
that's
my
what I mean.
max heart rate.
Yeah, but it's why HIIT training works as well, because HIIT training is cardio, but it's an intense cardio, and there's typically no weights involved. Sometimes there's resistance on the machine if that's what you're doing. It's the same. The response is what the hormones do with that. So I think that is like when hormones are optimized on where they need to be. Shout out OptimizeU. Then your body will do what you want it to do, and you actually have control. So weight gain or muscle gain or weight loss, those things are accessible when those things are in play.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a really tough question though, because you see so many studies coming out all the time. There was just a study that I read a few weeks ago talking about how people who have done strength training and have, larger amounts of muscle, it's essentially like they have this extra little bit in their body that helps fight against cancer, Alzheimer's, all sorts of things. So it's almost like a built-in defense mechanism that you see strictly associated with the strength training.
100%.
Obviously, there's, the cardio benefits as well. Like that helps with longevity too. But it seems like evidence-based studies are tracking more towards strength. But once again, I don't think you can really pick between the two.
I think you're 100% right. That's almost another podcast by itself.
Yeah.
Just in that sense, because
all these questions
I've read that study, and I know and I just watched this happen to a friend of mine who he had appendicitis and it burst. And because he was fit, like it didn't kill him. Like his body was able to pull from all that muscle.
Wow.
And those nutrients to kind of help him fight through that. And it was less severe for him, even though it was pretty bad. Like he's starting from scratch now with his, putting muscle back on, because that's a long time to be in the hospital. So there's a lot of science to that. Your immune system, the way your body responds with nutrients, all happening inside your muscle mass, which is quite amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else on that, Payton?
No, I think I've hit everything that I would say.
Yeah, we covered it all.
Yeah.
All right, Terry.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Another deeply scientific question, I'm sure. Here we go. Wearable fitness technology. Do fitness trackers and smartwatches improve motivation, performance, or do they promote obsession and inaccurate data reliance?
These are such like...
I'm going to say yes to both, because I think if you're an obsessive person, then you're going to be obsessed. The watch isn't to blame. But as someone who wears their watch, and I'm typically motivated by it and not obsessed. So I get annoyed when I go out for a walk and I don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't need the data to be dead accurate. Matter of fact, I put my watch to the test and a lot of other wearable technology, and I will put it up against a DEXA scan or against a body fat test or a metabolic test, and it's within 5 to 10%.
Yeah, that's great.
Plus or minus. And
is that an Apple?
That's honestly close enough for what we're doing,
Yeah. Is that an Apple Watch?
Yeah, it's Apple Watch.
Nice.
So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, these questions aren't closed-ended questions. These are open-ended questions. It's not one or the other with any of these, I feel like. Do you guys have a ring or a watch or anything?
No, but the only thing I can like give an example to is like for Orange Theory, I do not wear the monitor. I can't stand it because I'm watching all these other people have tons of points or seeing like the variety does not encourage me to do any better than what I'm already giving when I'm there.
Does it make you distracted?
Almost that and just more frustrated. So I would gear towards not wearing it because I'm putting that much more effort rather than getting discouraged by me seeing I'm working just as hard as the person next to me who's getting
100%
so much more.
Yeah.
So that's like a alternative opinion of it.
You came to not compete. You came to compete with yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so I don't like having the monitor to see that on there and seeing the comparison up on the screen.
Yeah. That's not for everybody.
It doesn't help me perform.
Yeah. I think that kind of even goes to the very first question. It's like, what motivates you is the best way to answer that question.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
It's definitely person to person because I know my sister loves having her watch on and like she's not obsessive, but it motivates her that like she's thought throughout the day I haven't gotten to go on a walk and haven't gotten to do all these things. And so it's a reminder of like, I want to do this. So.
Yeah. I personally I have the Oura Ring and a Garmin. This is the Vivo 3S in case anybody is wanting a Garmin. I like it a lot. I think it's a 3S. But I like my Oura Ring more. Also, in case anybody's interested, because I get that question a lot, which one I like more. But I like both. Like, I just like looking at both of them. But I really track like more than just like exercise. I look at my sleep and I track my cycle with that. So I love it, but it works for me. So it keeps me like, I wouldn't even say I'd be motivated. Like, I think I'd be just as motivated without them. I think it just keeps me like in tune. Like,
it's different, I think, for trainers because for us, we're data driven. So for us, I think it might be different for you too, as a medical professional. Like, data is data.
Yeah.
Like, you don't. This is not a knock to anybody who doesn't want that nudge or that push or that to be competitive with that wearable. That's fine. Be like, whatever gets you moving is all that matters. But for the certain individuals, we've learned to disassociate personal feelings or even me with being obsessive about certain things. I don't obsess about that because you can disassociate it because we need the data in order to help the clients get the results that they're asking for. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like knowing my steps and how active I am gives me a lot of insight. And when I'm going to tell somebody else they got to get 10,000 steps a day,
it helps you teach.
Yes, it does help me teach for sure. Okay, well, that's all the questions, right?
Well, did you get an answer?
Oh no, but just honestly, just jumping on what you said, like data is king. Personally, I think that. So, I'm in the market for something. I wore the Whoop for years. I really liked it, but I feel like there was a threshold that it wouldn't pass, and I did want to track a little bit more than it could. So I've been looking into the Ring. I've been looking into the Garmin, but I am trying to get back on that because I did really appreciate being able to kind of have the data and then use that as a reference to how I was feeling or how my performance was that day.
Yeah, the Ring, I like it. We can talk after the episode why I like it a little more.
I have one too, and I wore it straight out. It doesn't even charge anymore. So
you're just wearing it for looks.
Well, I'm wearing it because I'm married and I don't have a wedding ring, so this is my wedding ring.
Wait, that's hilarious.
I lost that at a trampoline park. It's a whole thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, let's get into Rhoë Pilates. Rhoë, right?
Yes.
That's such a cute name. Tell us where the name came from.
So it's named after my grandma, my mom's mom. She just was an inspiration. She was very design-oriented, art-oriented, and so kind of marrying her love for design and art with our kind of math and science brains, and we just thought it would be right to name it after her.
Okay, I love that. Cute. And so we have Shev and Payton, and then you, Shev, and your mom, Jill. Y'all are the founders of Rhoë, right?
Yes.
And is it open yet, or is it opening?
It is opening end of this fall, so we are currently finishing out our build out, and we're about a month-ish away from our soft opening.
That's so exciting. Do you feel stressed right now? Is it a stressful time, or is it like just exciting?
No, it's just really exciting. I try not to get stressed about things that I have wanted and worked for. It's like kind of making that distinction in my head where this is something I've been working towards. So if any stress, it's good stress.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might need tips on that.
Yeah. No, that's actually so good.
That's great. Yeah.
Things you want, why stress except most good stress?
Ezra, are you jotting down these subjects for another podcast in the future? Because that's right there. I'm going to steal that one. It's recorded. That's fair point. Fair point.
And then Payton, what do you
Yes.
do? What are you going to be doing with Rhoë Pilates?
Basically, marketing in all aspects from social to events, especially prior to the opening. And then it'll be a fun kind of switch over once it's open to interacting like in person, showcasing the actual studio and the people in it, and the community that we've built. So
Yeah. Are you going to coach at all, or are you just doing marketing?
there is a potential there.
Okay.
But yes, I would like to eventually.
So fun.
Payton has a dance background, so
Yes.
she
Oh.
obviously like there's a huge flow between dance and Pilates. Like a lot of instructors are both. So over time, I think she's very interested, and we would
Yes.
love to have her.
And I would just love, like, it would make a great opportunity for me to be there more often too, and just to know all aspects of the business as well.
Yeah. If you're like in there, you're doing the workouts
Yeah.
and you're just like in the world of what's happening, and that's
Yeah.
going to help you in marketing and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Totally. Well, give us the backstory. Where did this idea come from from you and your mom to start Rhoë Pilates?
Yeah. So my mom and I both have a lot of fitness experience. She was more yoga forward, and I've been doing Pilates for the past decade. And then one of my degrees is in biomechanics and physiology. So always kind of trended towards health and wellness as a topic. But I found Pilates when I was in high school. I did a lot of mat Pilates. It wasn't until recently that I tried reformer Pilates for the first time, and it completely transformed the way that I move. I have always been an active person. My mom has always been an active person, but Pilates was just opening up a completely different door in how you can be active. And, going back to longevity and what's important to me and my mom personally is kind of living a lifestyle in which, luckily and hopefully you can live up until your 80s and your 90s and you're mobile and you're active. And so Pilates is kind of like the basis for that. So it was very important for us to build a business around that and share that with people. Another thing that we were very passionate about is having a foundation in science that's rooted in science and evidence-based science, because we have a healthcare background. So kind of treating the holistic aspect of health at the studio, and then being able to obviously bring in fun things like style and other things that people enjoy, more of like a luxury experience, but kind of marrying that all together so that people can get all aspects of health and wellness, style, substance, everything all in one place.
Yeah, I love that. Mixing like the holistic wellness approach with Pilates, what is that going to look like? Like, what is a, I guess, like tangible way or visualization of that?
Yeah, so we have a lot of people who are specialists in different areas, think like prenatal, postnatal, mobility, longevity, who we will be bringing into the studio to be doing workshops if people are interested in that. Obviously, we also have connections to healthcare providers who would be coming in doing other sorts of workshops. It doesn't even have to be necessarily Pilates related, but immunity is a hot topic, and we were going to have somebody come in and talk about different ways to boost your immunity, especially in the colder months. So offering opportunities for people to learn, because I think education is the backbone of everything.
Yeah.
So giving people a place where they can be educated, as well as come in. If you want something a little bit more surface level, you can come and take a class and leave. If you want something a little bit deeper, we have something for you there too in terms of education and resources.
I love that. That's also, if you can offer those kinds of workshops and things. Well, first of all, you and your mom having a medical background, you'll kind of like what people need in general, like not just Pilates, like what is a whole wellness experience that people need access to. Because there's so many things out there. So having you guys kind of vet those people and bring them in and just be like, just come, they're here. Like that's such a nice resource for them.
I got a question on that too. Like when a lot of people describe holistic, in their own personal terms, like how do y'all define holistic in that sense?
Good
Like,
question.
can you elaborate a little more on that for me?
Yeah. Holistic, I think, is just because to your point, there are different ways to define it. I think that it's more so just looking at the individual as an individual rather than grouping people into, one group or another. It's each person, meeting them where they're at, ability, interest, experience, background, whatever it is, and then going from there and working backwards. So it's, if you want to tie it to healthcare, it's all about that intake, sitting down with that person, seeing what are your goals. And same with fitness too. Like when you have a client, you sit down and you ask, like, what are your long-term, short-term goals? And so I think that the best way to treat somebody holistically, exercise-wise or Pilates-wise, is definitely following up with a complete background, goals, desires for, like, why are you in the studio? And then kind of working from there and seeing, how can we align with those things? Obviously there's diet, there's sleep, there's so many other things that go into, but that's another conversation that you can have.
Well, I think that helps you. I mean, speaking to what you want to do workshops, like that helps you bring in those, experts in those fields for that type of stuff. So I think that's huge. Like there's not, I don't know of any other, Pilates gym specifically doing that. It's a highly personalized view on membership. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And having those workshops is going to create a community.
Yeah.
Having like extra things people can come to. That's such a great resource. And I also love how you mentioned kind of like a luxury experience and bringing style. What's the aesthetic? Like what's the vision for it? Because Pilates is big right now. Yeah. And I feel like all the studios I see are just gorgeous. Like they all look so good. So tell us about that.
We have been really having fun with our build out. It's a very beautiful space. I guess you would how would you characterize it? It's like just like a luxury space. We obviously have two, I don't even know if I mentioned this, but we are Nashville's first multi-modality studio. So we have infrared capabilities in one room and then reformers in another room. So it's two separate modalities. Obviously, the infrared room has the ability to be heated, not heated. And we also are incorporating a little bit of an interesting method in terms of our classes. We are offering classic and contemporary Pilates in both rooms. And then we are also taking on a little bit more of a HIIT sport approach as well. So we are going to have our recovery restoration classes. We're going to have our contemporary classical with light weights and bands that you usually see in a Pilates class. And then we're going to have heavier weights, a little bit more of an emphasis on time under tension in the reformer room. So kind of incorporating in those Legree counts, those Legree principles. And that kind of allows people to create like an a la carte method in terms of their workout. So I know that doesn't really answer your question on the aesthetic of the space.
Well, I needed to know all that, so thank you.
But it definitely is a place where this was something we were very passionate about, is creating a place where people can create their perfect method under one price point, under one roof.
Yeah.
So you don't need to mix and match. You can come and do your heavier workouts, your strength-based workouts, your recovery workouts, more of a Pilates flow, and kind of create a combination of everything.
So really holistic on every level.
Literally.
Yeah. Not just on that personal intake, but also on the modality part of it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
What level of influence did y'all's medical background have on creating this space? I know we talked about it a while back on a Zoom call with you and your mother. I know some of the scheduling had something to do with that too, but can you elaborate on that too?
Yeah. So obviously any movement is backed by science, is backed by medicine. And that's something that we're taking very seriously. I think our main focus is to elevate the body in motion. And to do that, you have to look at it from a medical perspective and a biomechanics perspective. So that was a big influencer. Obviously, you have people of all abilities coming into the studio, all backgrounds. Something that is near and dear to me and my mom is the special needs community as well, because my sister is special needs. So kind of meeting everyone where they're at. And that requires a medical approach for sure, because you have people who have injuries, you have people who have disabilities, and being able to be accessible to everyone does take a little bit of that medical knowledge. I think it makes you a better provider in terms of being an instructor, not an actual like medical provider, but I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. And this may not be a fair question, but I'm going to put you on the spot and see what you say. But from the medical perspective, fitness modalities are plentiful. Is Pilates like, so, you know, based on y'all's medical background, was Pilates the only answer, or is it just more personalized to y'all and that's what your favorite thing to do? I know that's a good question. That could get us in trouble answering that question, but I was interested to see what you thought.
Your mom has a background in yoga.
In yoga. She's been doing yoga for like 25, almost 30 years. She was also a runner for a long time.
Yeah.
And Pilates, I think, is one of those things where if you want to touch your toes when you're 85 years old, like you need to do Pilates.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you don't really think about when you're younger, but, you know, having spent time in hospitals and having worked with that population, you see the limitations. And so it's like you trace backwards and you work backwards. And it's like, okay, well, if you have been doing these things for 30, 40 years, you may be able to do this when you're 85, when you're 90. And so I think Pilates is great for that. Back to our conversation before, strength training is great for building that muscle and using that muscle as a defense mechanism against diseases down the line. So it's like, I love strength training. I love HIIT workouts. That's what I do, but I think that incorporating in Pilates is so necessary for everybody. And so it was a good basis to be holistic, is to have Pilates.
Good job. You avoided my hot take. Well done. He was like, from a medical background, Pilates is the only modality. So well done.
Well, and you said that you guys are going to try to offer some weight classes as well. So pairing those two together, it's like a dream come true. I heard someone say the other day, and I know we need to break here in a sec, so maybe we can come back to this after the break. But the other day, someone said you could do Pilates as your mobility. And I'm like, I'm terrible at doing my mobility. Pilates sounds fun. So whenever we come back from the break, I want to know if you would agree with that.
Yeah.
At OptimizeU, we believe that normal is not optimal. Whether you've been dabbling in hormones or this is your first time and you want to know where to get started, we make the hormone optimization process very simple. Simply get started with comprehensive labs, and our providers will take it from there with you to review where you are right now and where you want to be to ultimately help you achieve your health and performance-related goals. So from our expertise in hormones, peptides, all the way to recovery services, we want you feeling at your optimized best so that you ultimately feel better physically, mentally, and sexually. Just like hormones play a significant role in the overall optimization of your health, so do recovery services help your body on a cellular level. From our sensory lounge to our infrared sauna, full body red light, full body cryotherapy, cold plunge, we have a wide range of performance recovery services just for you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the NFM Podcast in the OptimizeU studio. We are here with Shev and Payton, and we're talking about Rhoë Pilates. And before we came to the break, I was asking Shev about Pilates being maybe like a supplement for mobility. Someone the other day was saying you can do Pilates as your mobility work, and moving through like a full range of motion happens a lot in Pilates. I have actually never taken a Pilates class, and not because I don't want to. I actually really do want to. So maybe my first class needs to be at Rhoë. But there's a lot I don't really know. I've done some moves that are considered Pilates moves, I think. But yeah, tell us about, like, do you work through the full range of motion in the moves you do? How is it good for mobility overall?
Yeah. So, I mean, Pilates was created as a rehab method. Joseph Pilates created it for soldiers who were in World War I and were in the hospital and were recovering from injuries. And so the entire Pilates method is based off of a hospital bed with springs attached. And so that's how you moved through the moves. You could have been bedbound. You obviously could have had range of motion, but the springs were attached to the bed and he moved you through different rehab methods, essentially. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a physical therapist, but he had so much knowledge about the human body and biomechanics. And so it is a very low intensity. It can be as high intensity as you make it, but it is a low intensity workout that is very much built off of mobility. And so a lot of studies show that if you supplement your strength training or your cardio training with 2 or 3 days of Pilates, you can kind of round out your routine perfectly, because you're doing a 50-minute class. You're obviously active. You might bring the heart rate up depending on the class, but you're also doing mobility and flexibility training for the entire 50 minutes. There's not a single part where you're not working on that. So it is a very adaptable workout if you're already used to working out. And I think it just is like the perfect supplement to anything.
I want to interject to my fellas watching this right now, because she says low impact, but you ladies are strong on another level. And Pilates is low impact to you. For us dudes who only do bicep curls and squats and deadlifts, it's real intense for you, but that's why you need it. So, you know,
and like
if you want to stand up straight and walk normal and maybe be able to wash your back, the middle of your back.
Yeah, like,
Pilates.
can you do this?
Yeah, they can.
No. Well, and so many guys have, I feel like, just strength train and have huge muscles, but they can't move.
They can't use them.
Yeah.
What's the point of all that strength if you have no length, right? There's actually power in the length of that muscle.
Yes, right. That's healthy. Yeah. If we're talking about functionality and being able to move your whole life.
I'm calling out dudes because I've been invited to several Pilates classes where they're expecting me to fail. The lady, I know that's why, but I do just enough mobility to not fail. I'm complaining the entire time, but and shaking profusely, but I will not stop. No, it's intense if all you do is things that just contract. Yeah. So lengthening that would be it's the right type of intensity. I think is what
For sure.
what you're trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and Payton was saying in the break, was talking about women in pregnancy and doing this. I can see how maybe a woman whose body's changing so much and is wanting something that just feels good, but just in case stay moving, how it could be helpful. Tell us about the person that you were telling us about in the break.
We have an instructor on the team that she just went through her pregnancy and has her little one, and she was just explaining how passionate she is that about wanting to teach other women that now that she's gone through it and how impactful it was on her pregnancy of, okay, this is what has made my body feel good during this time. This is when it started to feel its best. This is what helped me, early on in my pregnancy, later on, or postpartum, just all aspects of pregnancy. For her, Pilates was like crucial for her during that time. And so it was just really interesting to hear all that from her and her perspective, because you don't hear that often. Yeah. And then just having like her passion for it to teach other girls. And we actually have another instructor that is pregnant now, and like she's really looking forward to what she can learn from her. And moving and seeing that is exciting on my end, like watching the instructor that is pregnant also go through that journey as well. Yeah. So
has she said anything about her like ability to like bounce back or like feel back to pre-pregnancy her, like has Pilates helped with that at all? Has she mentioned anything like that?
She definitely did, especially with the aspect of people will, again, you don't hear it often, people working out during pregnancy as much, but she was able to do that and do exercises throughout her whole pregnancy. So her coming back to it was not as drastic as her or as someone that completely just shut off all exercise.
She just continued doing what she had been doing.
She was able to do a lot of what she already had been doing.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I feel like I could see, not being super familiar with Pilates moves, but I could see how it would probably be good for the pelvic floor too. Like a lot of exercises that your doctor would recommend.
A lot for her back, hips.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to point out, because I had a client a couple years ago, actually probably 5 years ago if I'm honest, wanted more workouts, didn't have the time for it, and she did Pilates and struggled with nagging back pain or knee pain. She's 60, super strong, and it made our workouts better because she could lift heavier without all of that pain. And I don't think she thought that it was going to, that she was going to feel that good, and now she's definitely addicted to Pilates. So.
Yeah, and can move through full range of motion.
Right,
like that's a huge inhibitor to strength training, because that is where you get the most strength gains is moving through a full range of motion. Not people. A lot of people think just add weight to the bar, but if you can't get to depth on a squat, then it doesn't it'd be better for you to get to depth on a squat with less weight than adding a bunch of weight.
Right.
So yeah, being able to be mobile and get range of motion is essential for even strength training. Can you explain the difference to me between a reformer and then just regular Pilates? Like Pilates without a reformer and then a reformer. Is it the same moves just with a reformer? I don't know what that really is.
Yeah. So you can do, mat Pilates is like the basis of all Pilates.
Okay.
You could do just about anything on the mat on the reformer, and not necessarily everything on the reformer on the mat, because obviously you're using an apparatus, but just about everything is transferable if you're creative enough from the ground to the reformer. And the reformer just adds that resistance.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So you have the spring loads and it just adds that extra resistance. So it is, well, you can add resistance on the ground too, obviously.
Yeah.
But the reformer is just a smoother way sometimes to work through different poses. And it's nice to create a flow on the reformer. And obviously, like the Pilates reformer is different than a Legree reformer that has a different capability as well.
Okay, yeah.
But,
See, I've heard that word too, and I'm like, well, what's the difference between Legree and
Pilates?
Anyways, yeah.
Pilates is, so Legree is more so focused on time under tension. So you have slower counts, and it's really targeting those type 2 muscle fibers in the entire workout. So you'll get into a pose and you'll stay in that pose for a minute, and then
Whew, that's why you struggled, Terry.
Yeah. So it's just
note to self, avoid Legree.
So like Legree is definitely, maybe in a 50-minute class, you're only doing 12 different moves, but you're staying in each move for much longer. And that's when you see those shakes. Pilates, you see them too, but it's kind of more of a smoother, not as much focus on time under tension, more focus on mobility, flexibility, range of motion. So it's different in that sense. You use a different machine too.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait to come try a class. So you guys are opening when? The fall, you said, or you have an exact date?
We don't have an exact date yet. So we're slated for the end of the fall.
Okay.
Could be a little bit earlier, just depending on a few different things. But our soft opening is definitely going to run through the month of December. That we know for sure.
Okay. Sweet. Is your mom excited?
She's so excited. She is traveling right now, or else she would be here, but she's super excited.
What are kind of your roles between you two with the business?
My mom is great with numbers, and she's really great with, she has a lot more just experience, like life experience than I do. So I kind of lean on her for advice when it comes to how to navigate certain situations. I love talking to people and meeting people, and so that's kind of what I've been spearheading. And yeah, just we've kind of had a really fun time finding the space, planning the space, building out the space, and creating it together.
And where is this studio going to be located?
It is in the Nations.
Nice.
Yes.
Like, give me a general
That's
idea.
close to me.
The State Line development.
Okay.
We're right on the second floor above Relive.
Oh, gotcha. I know where you are.
Yeah.
What about, so you guys, you talked about events leading up to what, is there anything leading up to your soft opening that people can get involved in?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got an event happening this Thursday, actually, that's at Live Oak. We're going to do like a little pre-Halloween Pilates event there. We've got a collab event coming up with Paddle House.
Oh, nice.
And Berries. We've got a great relationship with Berries that we're hoping to do multiple events with them.
Yeah.
And that one is November 6th.
That's November 6th. Yep.
Yep. We've got lots in the works. We've got some partnerships we're super excited about.
We'd like to, I think we need to talk about, we'll do this off camera, but we're working with the Downtown Nashville partnership. So we're working with Metro and their green spaces and bringing wellness and fitness events to their space.
Yes.
And we're always looking for Pilates instructors. So
yes,
we'll talk after the show.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. That's all so fun. And then, so how can people be reminded of those events and see them? Are you guys on social media, I'm assuming?
Yes, we do have our Instagram, which is Rhoë Pilates. We've got our link tree all set up with all the events locked in on there. You can sign up for our emails. We're going to start sending out emails shortly, and Yeah.
And Rhoë is ROWE.
RHOE.
RHOE. See, I got it wrong. I knew that was going to be important though, because I remember it being spelled a little bit different than I would have, I guess. So RHOE.
Yes.
If you guys are searching on Instagram, need to find it. RHOE. Rhoë Pilates. Awesome. Well, keep us in the loop of all the things. Excited to see the studio open and y'all's journey with it. And good luck. I'm going to come take a class.
I'm going to watch. I'm not going to do it.
I'll bring Terry as my friend to take a class.
You know, to get the content.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much, guys, for coming on the podcast and sharing with all of our listeners today. Thanks, Terry, for being here and not leaving me alone today.
No, I wouldn't do that.
I do miss Tala, though.
We do.
Yeah. If you guys enjoyed this episode and found it helpful at all, then please like, subscribe, and follow us on all the things on behalf of NFM and share the positive. We really appreciate you. We wouldn't be here without you. Stay strong, stay connected, and catch us on the next one.